This weekend, Brazilians are at the polls voting in their presidential election. Latin America's largest economy is grappling with a record number of homicides, a job crisis, a corruption scandal, massive protests, and a tough-on-crime candidate some call Brazil's Donald Trump. Of course, it's hard to know just what to believe. Brazil is seeing a historic amount of fake news these days, and they've launched an all-out effort to stop it. Scott Thuman reports from Brazil.
Brazil, with its beautiful beaches and flashy festivals, has always stood out. And this election is no exception. The early leader in the polls launched his presidential campaign from jail while serving 12 years for corruption. One of the current frontrunners was hospitalized after he was stabbed at a rally. And the political chaos only intensifying due to an alarming surge in fake news. Eduardo Bueno is a journalist and commentator.
Brazil can be a growing field for fake news because first, people love gossip. Second, they're not educated. Third, they don't care about real information. So it's perfect.
In a recent case, video of enormous crowds circulated on social media suggesting one of the presidential candidates has huge support. In reality, these are soccer fans watching a match during the World Cup months ago. According to a Reuters Institute study, 90% of Brazilians get their news online. Of those, more than 70% are using a smartphone to access social networking sites and the Facebook-owned messaging app WhatsApp, where fake news spreads at the speed of a click. Dangerous, Bueno says, since users often don't know the validity of what they're passing along.
And in Brazil, you have to vote, right? It's a law. You cannot say, I wouldn't vote. You have to vote. There is a fee. You have to pay a fee if you don't vote.
Some in Brazil's Congress have proposed up to 8 years in jail for intentionally spreading false information. And it's not just Brazilians trying to preserve the sanctity of their elections. Harvard University's Kennedy School of Government, with support from Google, Facebook, Twitter, and others, are working on a project called Comprova, meaning proof, bringing together 24 media companies, quickly fact-checking stories, and allowing voters to send in rumors they received for vetting. Such efforts, though, can be controversial, since Google and Facebook are under scrutiny in the U.S. for allegedly censoring certain viewpoints. In another Brazilian fake news case, a photo of army trucks adorned with a candidate's banner was widely shared, suggesting a military endorsement. The photo is real, but the trucks are Army surplus, sold off to a private buyer long before the campaign began. Raquel Krahenbull covers politics in Washington for Brazil's Globo News, one of the companies trying to fight these falsehoods.
Some candidates are also spreading falsehoods, right? Because it helps them, and they speak things, they say things they believe to be true, but without checking also the facts, right? Or even checking history books.
Do you think it will affect the outcome of the election?
I think it could. I think it's still too early to know the impact. We're going to know after the election, but actually it's a real fear.
So much so, Facebook has shut down hundreds of pages and accounts, and Brazil's High Court has expressed it could even invalidate or cancel the election should it feel it's no longer fair. Are you shocked or surprised by how quickly the fake news is spreading right now?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, and it's like people that you look at and you say, I cannot believe this person is sharing this information. The authorities in Brazil are really, really worried about the impact of fake news. After seeing what happened in the election here in 2016, I think after the election we'll know the real impact and then learn from mistakes.
Already looking ahead, schools have even begun classes teaching young Brazilians how to spot fake reports.
And now the country is divided, so every side wants to attack the other. So they keep putting all the time fake news, all the time. I can't believe that people still believe in the fake news. And the fake news is going to become the real news very soon, because there is more fake news than real news in social media in Brazil.
Is there any indication it's worse there than anywhere else? Everybody says it's a problem.
Well, Brazilian voters seem to think so. There was a BBC World Service poll last year, and it showed that 92% of Brazilians fear they can't determine the difference between false and actual news online, and that is the highest of any country they surveyed.
Very interesting. Thanks, Scott.